Hey there, how's it going? My name is Oliver, and welcome to the Ozone Coach and Counselling Centre. Yes, it's really nice to finally meet you. Today's session will be complimentary, and I hope you get some sort of benefit from our session today, which I think you will. I have a fair few actionable tips and tricks, life hacks per se, for you to get your life in the direction you want to be in. That being said, I just wanted to add and update your details in our system. So could I just please have your name and date of birth, please? I'll enter it on here. Okay. And then your date of birth, please. Okay. Oh, towards the end of the year. Very similar to me, yes. Yeah, I'm in November. Okay, well, let's move on. Do you know what a life coach is or what does? Essentially, what we do here at the Ozone Coach and Counselling Centre is provide information and useful tools, information and such to help you identify your goals, what they may be, why you may want to do them, and get you to where you want to be, essentially. A coach is essentially someone who can provide insight, support, and encouragement. Think of it as a mentor of sorts, and anyone can benefit from having one. The world's best athletes have not gotten to where they are today without having a coach or a mentor guide them on the right path. So, that being said, today's session, like I said, we will be discussing some actionable tips and tricks to implement into your life right now. I want to deliver the most value to you in the shortest possible time so that you can benefit and reap your rewards as fast as possible. So, the fact you have reached out to us at the Ozone Coach and Counselling Centre is an amazing and huge first step towards reaching your goals. I want to begin with an exercise because quite often it's difficult to see where our life's trajectory is heading, where our priorities lie in life, why we might be feeling overwhelmed or not on the right path. Let's do an exercise called the Wheel of Life. The Wheel of Life. I'll just prepare you a pen because we're going to do this together. The Wheel of Life, as you may be wondering, is a top-down view, a visual diagram, of course, in a wheel shape, a circular shape, that we will fill out, and each point or outer edge of the circle, we will fill it with aspects of your life. They could be anything. They could be your role at work, or your job, could be your family, and I apologize for the scratchy handwriting, but you get the idea, your friends. And I'll just give you a little notepad for you to do this yourself. Yes, yeah, you can keep that one. I'll give you a little package at the end so that you can have your own tools at your disposal. But let's start by completing this circle. Family, friends, etc. So let's start by thinking the outside of the circle as number 10 and the inside of the circle as 0, with 0 being that particular domain having no presence in your life, versus a 10 where that has a very, very big presence in your life on that particular aspect or domain. Hopefully that makes sense. We're going to essentially plot the graph. Go ahead and try that on yours now for me, please. What we are going to try and essentially do is identify which areas you may feel like you are devoting too much time to, or even too little time toward. That way we get this nice, great idea. We can take a step back and see which areas of our life we might want to direct more of our time, our resources, our energy toward. Hopefully that makes sense. And I'll just jot this down in notation or note form for you. How's your day been, by the way? I didn't even ask you that. How rude of me. Okay. That's good. I'm glad to hear. And here's hoping the rest of the week goes well as well. But, so that will be written and recorded in our online notes, which I'll email you at the end. But let's move on. Now that we've identified some areas in our life that we are not quite happy with, not quite happy with the amount of energy we're devoting towards it, we can start to develop our goals based on that wheel of life. So we're going to implement our SMART goals. You may have heard of these before, but our SMART goals, SMART, our SMART goals, S standing for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, and T, of course, for time frame or time bound. Very important to get in the habit of writing things down as well, where you can see things out on paper. They're not just all thoughts jumbled in your brain. You can put your thoughts and express them onto a canvas or a piece of paper in this case. So let's talk a bit more about SMART goals. Based on that little wheel of life circle you just filled out for me, do you have any areas in particular that you would like to improve or get better at, or have more of a presence in your current life? Have a think about that for a second. No rush. Like I said, today's appointment is complimentary on the house from Ozone Industries. But while you're thinking about that, I'll just write down and update a few things here. How are we going? Ready to talk about it? Okay. Well, let's first look at our S in the SMART. Specific. What do you want and why? Let's try get down to the nitty-gritty. Maybe, for example, you want to build the skills and experience necessary to become the top student at your school, so that you put yourself in good stead for the best opportunities for your future career. Something along those lines, maybe. Of course, you'd apply that to your specific situation at hand. But let's write that down. So, the nitty-gritty. Why? What do you want? Exactly. And let's move on to our M. Measurable. How will you measure this particular goal? How will you use it to stay on track and stay motivated? Which is something we will discuss after the SMART goals. Motivation. So, let's go back to our instance of wanting to be the top level student in your school or class. Maybe, and this is just an example, we can use our grades or the amount of email opportunities we get from potential employers as examples. Again, please apply these to your specific scenario. Let's move on. We want our goal to also be achievable. Our A. Achievable. Goals need to be realistic, of course, and attainable. We're not looking to be the next Einstein, although, who knows, you seem to be quite bright and intelligent, so let's see how we go. Moving on to our R. In Australia we say R, but for some of you it might be R. Very harsh. For me, R. Relevant. Ensure your goal matters to you. Ensure it is relevant to you. Is this worthwhile, this goal? That is the question I want you to ask yourself. Are relevant? Is this your goal? Is this what you want? What will this goal do for you in the long run, or for your other aspects in your life on that wheel of life that we talked about initially? Let's move on to our final letter of our SMART acronym. Time bound, or time frame. We need to be able to pinpoint this goal to a certain time frame or window, so that it is not something that drags on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Something we can set our sights on. Let's think about long-term and short-term time frames. Maybe, where do you see yourself in relation to achieving this goal in 6 months' time, or 6 weeks' time, or now? Think about that one. So, I hope everything is making sense so far. But as I mentioned, I will make sure all the information in our session is in note form for you to peruse on your own time. But let me just write down the notes for that second segment, our SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and of course, establish a time frame. Okay, fantastic. So, we're doing very well for our first session. I think we've discussed a fair bit, but there is another thing I would like to talk to you about, and that is motivation. A very important thing when it comes to working on any type of goal or thing you set your sights on. Essentially, the majority of people are looking for motivation, will wait for something or someone to come around and motivate them before they can take action. And I'm here today to inform you that this is probably not the most efficient route and efficient way to do things. Waiting for motivation, waiting in the wings, waiting for it, wait for it, is not the best way going forward. Instead, we are of the belief that action drives motivation and therefore creates more motivation to achieve your goal or strive towards whatever it is you are striving toward. The lifespan of motivation is like a honeymoon phase of a new relationship. It's really exciting at first, but eventually and quickly drops off. A relationship needs to be tended to with small and thoughtful actions in order to sustain itself. Motivation, by a similar turn, works the same way. Instead, we should think about it as action is a byproduct or causes motivation. Let's think about that going forward. So, we want to essentially get out of the mindset that I need motivation to do something. No. Instead, we want to say, I need to take action to get motivated. You need to perform some action, something, to get you motivated. We'll write that down. I need to take action to get motivated. I need to take action to get motivated. Perfect. And lastly, I wanted to talk to you about thinking big with our goals, but starting small. What do I mean by this? Imagine we have a 2,000-page essay to write, or our goal is to lose 20 pounds or 20 kilograms, whatever it may be. Instead of thinking of this as a giant, momentous, or mammoth task, let's break it up. Let's incorporate a technique known as chunking to break down that task into chunks, littler and littler, smaller and smaller pieces, until that big task doesn't seem quite so bad after all. In our case, we might think of those 2,000 words for your essay as paragraphs instead. Let's say 100-word paragraphs at a time. So there you go. There's your introduction. There's a few sentences to get the ball rolling. And as we mentioned earlier, action breeds motivation, which leads to more action. And before you know it, you'll be halfway done with that essay, just by starting and getting the ball rolling. Same thing with losing weight, 20 kilos for instance. try not to think of it as losing 20 kilos, but instead losing 1 kilogram 20 times, or 1 pound 20 times. Incorporate that chunking methodology into your lifestyle, and I promise you, you will find results. Excellent. Lastly, I did just want to leave you with a few relaxing things, as this is a place, a center that promotes feeling good and tingles above all else. So let's use our brush just to sweep away and brush away any negative emotions, any thoughts of anxiousness or self-doubt. Let's brush those worries, brush those fears, brush them away out of our life, and restructure our thinking. Brush, 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 brush. And we can also, by the same token, use our scissors to sever the ties from our negative state, our negative emotional state. Snip, 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 snip. Cutting the ties, severing the ties to all those negative feelings and negative emotions, self-doubt, anxiousness, fear. Although these are normal, let's try and overcome them, accept them, and overcome them with this little exercise I have devised. And lastly, let's use our towels. Let's use our towels to wipe away any smudges on our motivation, any dark spots in our life at the moment, and start fresh and clean and on a blank slate to essentially improve our lives. So, I hope you enjoyed that little relaxation session at the end of our session, and I email through our notes to you so that you have them and access to them anytime you so choose. Thank you very much for watching today's video, and I hope you got some insight into motivation, into reaching your goals. Thank you for coming to the Ozone Coach and Counselling Centre for your complimentary session. Don't forget to click the like button down below if you liked this video. Click the subscribe button and the notification bell for more content like this. Check out my Patreon and my Wizio for bonus content or personalised content, respectively, and enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. Thank you to my amazing patrons, Stephen Underwood, Blaine Bettinger, Jessica Montez, Fading Muses, David Emanuelson, Anthony Espinoza, Here's Mikey, Curious Madcat, JJJ, Kenneth Clary, Griffin Kelly, Milano Gardner, Jake Griffin, Electra, Keith O, Josh Santana, Kylie Denton, Stephen Joyce, Joaquin, Megan, Gabriel, Patrick, Troy, Andres Olan Vasquez, James Peacock, Michaela Rajan. Thank you.